Hey guys, welcome to another episode, and this one is a super special one. We are talking to Top Shot Talk, and we go through everything that's in the latest and greatest from Top Shot, including the drop today, all the fun stuff that happened, Cool Cat 7, collector score, trade tickets, and what we're looking forward to the most in the near future with Top Shot. It's a really fun conversation, lots of insights. Hope you enjoy it, and if you get some value out of it, please give it a like and subscribe. We're almost there to a 2K giveaway. So, how you doing, man? Did you get a pack today?
I actually woke up, like for me, it was 6 a.m. and I was like, hey, I'll see what the queue is. Because I joined the queue yesterday.
That's right. I saw your tweet. I just forgot that.
Yeah, I joined the queue yesterday. I was like 110,000. And I was like, I just like wanted to see what it's like. I always check in, like, I think it was about 15 minutes after, because I want to know how many people are like joining right away and like going through. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, like I'll see what it is. I almost didn't have time to screenshot. When I joined, there was 14. I like went to screenshot it. It was down to 5. I was on the payment page. It took me a minute, the whole thing. So I think it's amazing, the thing. You must love it.
It's so much better.
Like I can't imagine like having to go through the pack drops and stuff. And I know it still sucks for you for the ones that are timely, depending on when they are. But
so this one started at 4 a.m. So, and a lot of the main ones have been like even 2, 3, 4 a.m. So having a window is unreal. It's a godsend.
Yeah, I think it's important too for like, when we expand more in other parts of the world and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tough for them if globally we build a lot and then to kind of decide to make some of these premium packs at different times. But
yeah, unless they give you a window and then you get randomized or something like that. I don't know. I just literally thought of that, but
yeah, if they said like you can join the queue for these 8 hours, and then afterwards, the problem I guess would be with that is that whenever they start after the randomization, you still only have so long for you to do that payment. But I guess it would still just give you a better like chance to get into that part.
Yeah. But these are the things I guess they got to think about, because they're going to get 500,000 new users at some point.
Like, and those are huge markets that they're going to want to corner. Like if you watch it, like if you look at what the NBA has been doing the last 10 to 15 years, like the global market has been so important to them. So Top Shot's just going to follow suit with that.
So what'd you get in your pack after waiting?
I have an open mind actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll probably open mine on my stream Sunday night with John Boy Beats.
Nice.
I'll see if I can wait that long. Last time I did a pack opening, I waited with a rare pack and I waited 2 days for that. We'll see. I think knowing that one's coming every week, it like allows me to, but we'll see if I make it to the stream or not.
I have zero willpower and I have to know. It's just, I got to get up. I'm not complaining at all, actually. I got Bryn Forbes from the Bucks. So I've actually seen him play a bit because I've seen the Bucks a bit. Then I got Luca's assist, the new one. So I was very happy with that. And then I got Levine. So can't complain with an all-star either.
Yeah. Bryn Forbes, that was a Top Shot debut as well, or?
I think it might be actually, yeah. Yeah. Having said that, he's got a badge. So yeah, that was good. But what do you think of the new moments? Like, I reckon a lot of them, they've really upped their game. They're better moments.
I was about to bring that up. Looking at like what people have been posting as packs, like those new moments are amazing. Some of the descriptions are really cool.
Yeah.
If you look at the new Plumlee one,
I was gonna bring Plumlee up because I rip on him all the time.
Yeah, you do. But like that moment, I remember watching that, and I remember sending that clip to like my like boys group chat that's like all basketball, and just like being like, not what you expect from Plumlee, but he like broke the guy's ankles with like a pass fake. And like I'm a Duke fan too. So like I have love for the Plumlee family because they gave us some good years, but in the NBA, it hasn't quite been the same story. And there's a description there. It brings up like mixtapes from like my childhood and stuff like, so like they've really improved. And like, I think it's really nice that we get, and it's important to have like these lower end moments still be cool moments.
Yeah.
Because I think it will do a couple things. One is it like like people getting their first packs and getting something cool is very important, right? Like if we just got like,
You'd be hooked straight away.
yeah, and you get like just like a kick out and a three, yeah, okay, whatever. Even if it's a like good player, if it's not that great of a moment, and like NBA, there's highlights every night, so it's not like they'll be short. They do, I think they do need to make sure they save like really really important ones for those premium moments. But it also, I think, will do something where it'll actually differentiate the prices of these lower end moments. So it'll kind of give more value to the lower end moments, in that there's some that are more valuable than others based on what they are. And I still think that we have a ways to go with that when it comes to like what the moments are and how we value moments based on what the actual play is. But I think that will come in time, and just with more moments, they'll stick out more.
Yeah, for me, Plumlee was on. I remember seeing the play that night, and I was just like, oh. And as soon as I saw him get retired, I thought it's going to be this one. But I didn't want to call it on like the channel or something. But yeah, I'm actually, as much as I rip on him, I was really happy about that. But the Steph one as well, I'm going to stack that one, and like even as you say, some moments are more valuable than others. Like in a way, you could. I've been thinking about this, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but if you really like it, you can amplify it by stacking it. And I mean, obviously it's double the fail or double the success in time, but if you really like it, instead of buying an MGLE Steph, you can have 10 of these 35Ks maybe. I don't know, it's just been something I've been thinking about.
Yeah, and with that, there's a couple things to it. And it may not be comparing Steph to Steph, but comparing like a medium end player of a like MGLE of them, or getting like 10 Steph of the 35K. Like, of course, you have to look at like the prices. Maybe it's only 5 Stephs or something.
Yeah.
But liquidity in the long run will be a big thing as well, because, you know, those 35Ks are going to be a lot easier to sell, especially of the superstar players, because there's just more people that have that amount of money to spend. So that is something that people have to think about too, going forward, is that, you know, like the higher your moment is, the longer it takes to sell too. So if you're trying to, you know, increase your dapper balance for a pack drop or for a certain moment that you now want, or you're trying to upgrade, it's tougher with the more expensive moments and serial numbers too. When you buy those low serial numbers, and you're trying to get the actual value of that, it takes longer to sell too. So it's things that people need to consider.
Have you been buying anything in the last 24 hours?
I bought a MGLE OG and an OB. I had pulled a Bertans who was in the Luca challenge, so I got really lucky with that. So I sold that during the Luca challenge for like 370, and then I bought an OG for 200 after, knowing that he'll be in a challenge eventually, and also knowing that he's one of my favorite players. So if it didn't bump up in the challenge, I was happy. I got it for like 199, ended up selling it for 300 in the challenge, and then always with the intention of buying back after. So I got a 2-digit serial OG, so I was pretty happy with that for I think 190 or something. So I ended up the Bertans did me well.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. And especially if you got like a little bit of love for it with the Raptors for yourself. Are you eyeing off any of the new 35Ks for yourself?
They're like, with the new ones, what I try to do is I kind of like look at them and then I put them in the back of my mind, because I don't like buying when there's still tons of supply left to come. It's really hard sometimes.
It's really hard.
Like I really want that Gary Trent Jr. moment, the 12K debut. But I just know that I need to wait. Same thing with like Flynn, the rookie on the Raptors. I really want him. And like, even like the Harrison Barnes game winner, like that one, I know he has a new one out now, and that one's a lead, but like, it's been hard not to buy that one. That one's had some pumps and stuff too with the Cool Cats.
Yeah, he's already back down to 8. I was looking at him today because I was very interested in that bump. But I've found it really hard not to buy Steph today, because it's just super cool and he's my favorite player. But I got to keep remembering, like, only, I don't know what percentage it is, maybe 15, 20% of that came out today. And there's another one next week. I've
found that they've actually done a lot better. And I was going to make a video criticizing Top Shot about this, but it seems they have improved just that how they release new moments. Like I think there was
It was too slow.
14,000 or 15,000 now
Yeah.
that are released at once the first time. So
Yep.
before it was like only 10% come out and then it like increments and stuff. And I think
And then it acts like
I
an
was,
LE.
yeah. And then I think what's really dangerous with that is the new users, right? If you come onto the platform and you're a big Steph fan and you see that is the cheapest Steph moment, I want to buy that. But then only 20% of the amount was out and you thought it was a good deal because it's the cheapest Steph. And then, 2 weeks later, it's half the price because the supply's out. That's going to turn people off. And we can't expect that the new user is fully educated instantly, right? Like,
yeah, that's
what's
right.
great about Top Shot is that the onboarding process is so quick. Like, if Top Shot was like buying crypto first and then all that, like some of the other NFTs, I don't know if I would have been on the space as quickly as I was. Maybe I'd eventually have found myself there. But the fact that their onboarding process is so good also means that people are probably going to be making their first couple purchases maybe a little less educated. So they can't set up the new user to fail. So they've improved that. I still think it should be like when any moment comes out, I think at least 2/3 of the supply should come out in the first one.
So I actually made this video and I tried to put it in the office hours recently saying, can we release, instead of like you're saying 10% at a time, because that's what it was before today, can we release a whole distribution short, whatever you're doing for promos and giveaways? Because then you get fair market value straight away. And then all the other side effects that you just outlined for new users. But even if you're saying it's 2/3 like that, that's a really good idea as well, because you won't get people getting burnt all the time. And there's all those new moments then to get excited for. So you'd be getting less new moments each drop, but you'd be getting new moments every drop and fair market value every time as well. So that was something I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah, I guess the arguments against that would be that the packs, like the variety in the packs would be less. And I think the other argument I've heard is that like if you miss that pack drop, you don't have a chance at pulling that.
Yeah.
But I think with their capabilities of minting and the amount of moments they have now, they can still get variety and they can just still like save some. Like even if it's like you've released 2/3 and then only like 3% comes out, but it comes out for the next like 20 pack drops. Well, like you still have that chance to get it. But I think because it's not just how much is left, but it's how much of a chunk comes out too.
Yeah.
So, if you double the supply, then there's all like the market's going to tank. But if you're only adding a little 1%, so we see that with the the 4K rookies now, like the mellows, the first ones that are at like 93, 94%. When 5 get added, you don't see a huge change. So they've definitely improved in that way, but I think they could even go a step further with that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Cool Cat 7. You obviously heard the news about it being a showcase challenge. Most likely 9 types of moments. You need 9 moments with different types needed. So not necessarily 9 moments. And I think the example given was like a dunk from Seeing Stars moment or whatever else. What were your initial takes?
So I had actually kind of predicted this for like, because I kept going back to those blogs. They were released in February 14th. And in those blogs, there was a couple like hints. One was that when they talked about the common challenges, the first blog that they put out, they said there might be an only common challenge. Then the second one they put out and they like said, definitely there'll be one common only challenge. But from the beginning, they had said that there was going to be a showcase contest. I mean, obviously that could change, but it was like written in bold with the like 4 pack drops, everything. So I kind of always had that in the back of my mind. And then when Ben Simmons was minted, the timing of it just didn't click for me that there'd be another Cool Cat challenge because they minted it a day before the other challenge ended. And if we looked at Zach Levine and Fred VanVleet, they both were like minted 2 hours. There was a pack drop coming. The market was shut off. It was like, they did the exact same timing twice. And what it did was it didn't allow for like speculation to happen as much.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of a fan they are of that. I think they're a fan of the excitement and everything around it, but I don't think they're necessarily a fan of people getting burned uh, by buying up these moments. Who knows? There's also the like fact that they make money off every marketplace purchase. So I don't know how they really think about that, but the fact that they did it like that really like kind of stuck out to me. So I had brought up showcase thing. I think this is going to be a really interesting test because it is a test for them of
Yeah.
what to look for going forward with challenges. I, for you, what do you think? Like, do you think that this should be the only way challenges are done, or do you think that it should be like an option for them?
I'm really open to it being the only way challenges are done, depending on how this goes. So I had a couple of thoughts about it, and they're right about it. Flexibility. It might have more rewards because if it's more flexible, you're going to have more people actually completing it. So there's going to still have to be a bottleneck, like your Dwight Howard 15K the first time. That was one of those. I imagine there'll still be a bottleneck, and I reckon Seeing Stars is going to be involved somehow because they keep bringing that up as well. I like also how they said that, like, oh, I was going to bring it back later, but like a collector score, how your reward's going to be worth more for that. So maybe reward moments, you need one of those or something like that. But I was thinking about this and I never clicked with Showcase. I don't know when I thought about it, but it would be good if you could just have, a challenge and it was just certain types of moments. Like, I don't know, maybe it was teams, maybe it was dunks or buzzer beaters or something like that. And you get one of each as opposed to everyone just getting TJ McConnell, and you get this huge fluctuation and then this huge loss. So I think it will decrease the volatility of some of that stuff as well, and people getting financial, not hardship, but getting financially burnt by doing the challenge and entering the serial lottery. So I'm really open to it and really curious, but obviously it depends on the parameters that they come out with as well.
Yeah, one thing for that I've thought of about that is like I would kind of like this to be the model going forward for these common types of challenges.
Yeah.
But I think I would like more so, like if you think of the challenge right now for Hustle and Show, right? That's a set challenge. So that has to do with like a specific pack release and a reward associated with that.
Yeah.
Versus like these common challenges, which are kind of different. So and the difference being in that exactly the point you brought up about mint count, right? These common challenges, the mint count can be really, really high with the showcase and when there's a bunch of different options depending on the parameters. Whereas when you bring it over to how the other challenges have been done in the past with the sets, I think they should maybe continue that for the sets, but then explore this option as like, other people have brought up daily challenges and stuff like that. One type of challenge that I think this would suit even better now is I would love like a player challenge in that like it rewards collectors that love a player. Like for you, say you had like a whole bunch of Steph moments, then like put like 5 different Steph moments in a showcase and then you get this Steph moment. So I've always kind of thought of that. They also brought up on office hours, like something about like collecting a team as well, might add points to your baller score and stuff. So they could do it with teams too. Like, like collect the 5 starters of this team and you get this bench player or whatever. They really have more flexibility with it.
Yeah.
But I do think it is important for them to explore this to, alleviate the market effect of the common challenges in particular.
Yeah. And I guess also with the amount of moments they have now, they could literally do anything really. Like they could just, and I think they are making it up as they go along, but they could literally do anything with not this, but buzzer beaters, because that speculation was it was out there. But I think they've got to experiment with it, especially now, like before playoffs, and presumably things will start ramping up.
Yeah, like I think it's interesting because they always are kind of they're testing things, and sometimes we get a little too caught up and like forget that is what they're doing. And like like even Cool Cats, they didn't think they were going to have that many common challenges. They didn't think they were going to have multiple, but they probably saw the popularity and saw how engaged the community was with that, and kind of when the Master Challenge was kind of dying at that point too. People were kind of it was old to them. And, people, when they started the Master Challenge, people didn't have the mindset that there would be all these other moments of LaMelo or just in general. Like
it was a different
it
world.
it was insane. Like Luka, yeah, at the time of Luka, it was like Luka was never dropping from 10 grand.
Yeah.
And it was also like AD was going to be that too. Like I completed AD with some friends. I've talked about it before on my channel, and like, because we all got packs and everything, we put them together, and like we got like a decent cereal and didn't sell, but like 80 was selling for between like 1,500 and 2,000 to start. And it was just based off of Luca was so expensive.
Yeah.
And so they originally everyone thought every Cool Cat challenge, the rewards were going to be like crazy priced, but it wasn't nearly that. I think AD's like still probably overpriced at like 190 right now or something.
Yeah, yeah. And it is reeling me back in because this one's going to be Ben Simmons. So it's just like really waving the carrot in my face. And I'm like, oh, I was kind of just out on all this. And now you're bringing me back in. You're not going to miss Cool Cats, are you? Are you going to miss it? Or you'll be sad to see it?
I, it's kind of just been there for me, but that's an interesting question. It's been so well themed, I think, that I hope that they kind of see that as maybe a blueprint. There's definitely different ways they could maybe improve it. I think part of it was too, is that the commons have grown in like mint size. And I don't know if that was purposeful or would be purposeful if they kind of redid that, or it was just a reflection of the size of the user base. Because in theory, if they were to like say they redid Cool Cats today and made every single Cool Cats a 18,000 mint, then like the Luca bottleneck wouldn't necessarily have happened. And that might also be something that they don't like, right? Like it prevents many people from going for the Master Challenge. So we kind of see that with even the commons, right? When we had the 15Ks involved with the 35Ks, certain ones spike and the others don't. But overall, the challenge still becomes almost as expensive, but it makes it so that prevents some people from entering, versus the latest one that was only 35K. They kind of all rise to a similar amounts. So it'd be interesting to see if they do that blueprint. I love the themes though. I'm a big fan of the themes. So I hope kind of that concept continues with them. And whether it's just doing these common challenges, it doesn't have to be part of a grand scheme of things either.
Collector score. I'm actually really in on this because I don't know if you've seen this, but people are like, why don't they use baller status? And then I read somewhere on Twitter, Dingaling, who has the most number ones out of anyone, is a rookie. And so am I think. So it's just like, oh, well, that's why then. But what are your impressions, or what do you hope to see from collector score?
So like the fact that it's dynamic is super important.
Yeah.
And it's super important, not just like for your everyday user, but it prevents like multi-accounting, right? Like if it was baller status, multi-accounts would just like accomplish things, boom, move on to my next one, accomplish things, and it's good forever. And they can use that constantly. This allows for things to go up and down. It's super important that it's going to be known ahead of time. Instead of these snapshots
and live.
And like being able to check it, like having goals, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do legendary drop this time, probably not next time, but if I accomplish these things, I might be able to get it in 2 months. And it gives people like a pathway. It's just going to be engaging too. It's going to it's going to be a gamification of it, like another aspect. And just keep people, striving for the next thing. I think baller status right now, it's kind of has no purpose, so people don't care about it much.
And it's been buggy, so no one checks it.
Well, especially like at the beginning, I remember when I joined, I was like, oh, like I do a little showcase, I get some more points. So I did it right away or whatever. But then like nothing was working. So then you just like kind of cast it aside. But also it's all dependent on like your pack luck right now. So it's like, it doesn't say anything. There's no like really day to day that you can improve on it. Whereas the collector score, it will be, it's like, oh, go make a purchase in the marketplace, get these moments. So it'll be interesting how they roll it out, but I think it's going to be a really important improvement. And I was actually talking to my cousin this morning, and he's joined Top Shot in the last like week or so. And I told him about the collector store, and he was like really in on it. And this is someone that obviously like would have a very low collector score and everything. And he said he's like, he's been in the sneaker game too. And he's like seeing all these things in kind of in Top Shot and how it works, and like how he wished that was like part of that world, which has, there's been quite a few comparisons with the drops and everything between the two.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if you're going to get like accumulative scores for the longer you hold things. So like, I don't know, maybe a point for every week or day or something that you actually hold things. I don't know. I don't know if the point system's going to be like thousands of points or like tens of points, but yeah, I wonder if you've got like, I don't know, you could literally get a pack every week on a pre-reg and hold them and really start accumulating some points that way. So I'm really, really curious to see the parameters and the algorithm behind it.
Yeah, I actually had that same thought this morning when I was thinking, and I was talking about the collector score, was like, because like I'm not a crypto person, I'm not in that world, whatever, but I think there's like staking where like you're basically not going to be able to touch your coins and you're accumulating. They could kind of do that with your moments in that you're contributing to your collector score. So I had the kind of that same thought of like, okay, like you bought this moment like 3 months ago and you still have it. I think it'll be interesting for that. And I think if they were to do that, they would have to kind of like tier it as well. So like, you know, if you're holding on to a rare or something like that, just because like, if I'm just, because people will just buy a moment to hold, right? Like if I just buy a common and I just hold it forever. So, and maybe and maybe making it so that ones that you pull out of a pack are the only ones that you can do that with as well. So it's like, people aren't just purchasing their $1 moment to increase their score and hold it, but like anything you pull from a pack, you can then just, the longer you hold your pack moments, the more points you accumulate. So, but like, this is going to be something that evolves too, right? Like that's what's going to be so cool, is that, I mean, Jacob talked about in office hours that it was like, basically like, they're going to put out a rubric. This is going to be the first draft. Don't expect this to be end all be all. And that's important, right?
I'm that one point that I brought up earlier about a challenge reward will be worth something in collector score. I hope it's significant because I've held Conley ever since getting burnt on that one, the one he narrated, and I just haven't had the heart to sell it, just for the sole reason I got burnt so bad financially. $300 turned into, I think it was like $25-30, and then I'm just stuck with this Conley talking about his spin move.
The thing with that too is that I think if that is the case, and they are say that's part of the collector score, because he kind of mentioned, did he mention it was for the baller status?
That was for the collector score.
So for if we're going to do that for the collector score, I think it'd be important to consider distinguishing the difference between someone who has a challenge reward that did the challenge versus someone that bought it. Because I mean, that doesn't really help anyone that did the challenge, because those people are the people that got it at a bargain, right? And I don't think and if we are going down that path, I don't think it's good enough to just say like, I accomplished a challenge, therefore I get those points. It should have to do with still holding that reward as well, to to get people to hold on to those challenges. I still can't believe how quick people let go of them in the marketplace afterwards, of like at a clear loss. I don't know.
I actually profited from Fed Van Vliet, but I got lucky. So I think I got the email super early, and I was literally walking to work, and I looked at the marketplace and they were sitting at 220. I was like, well, this is going down to 100 or 120 or something at least. So I just popped it up for 180, which was like $40 less than what it was when I looked. And then someone bought it, which is probably not morally correct of me to do, but yeah, that was the only one that I really sort of got all in on. And then when I saw the mint counts for Levine, I bailed on that one as well, because I would much rather stack a Steph or something, because now you're watching all these cool moments and you're getting amped about it. And that's probably, for me, a bit more fun than doing a challenge, and maybe I'll have more fun again with your Simmons and your showcases and things. But yeah, you're right in that. I think people let things go too early in their packs. Like you see it today with LeBron getting dumped and dumped and dumped. Even now I get emails saying people are dropping them for $20 when they're worth 80 or 60, and you're just like, that's not just uneducated, that's just stupidity.
But the thing, like with the Fred though, like when you sold for 180, you had a lower price though because you already had Joe Ingles and stuff too, right? Because the cost of that was over 200.
I had a head start.
Yeah. So like I did Zach LaVine because I had a head start, and solely because I just wanted to get that serial lottery, like I wanted that feeling kind of.
Yeah, it is fun though.
Yeah, and like I ended up with not a great one at all, and it like right now I'm like, if I sell him for $50, it's even. I think that he might go up a little bit if we get a little more interest in the Master Challenge, but like I had that head start. I've pulled one in a pack. I had bought two before at cheap prices, so that was the only reason I did it. I thought maybe if it adds a little bit to my score in the future, that's okay. But I was so tempted to sell out because that's like what I've been a big proponent of, is selling out during these challenges, because nothing's been worth it at the common level basically since.
And I bailed on Hustle and Show as well, but yeah, you're right. It's tough, but it's very satisfying when you do complete it as well. And if you're breaking even, I think challenges are worth it because, you know, the lottery for breaking even is just zero risk, and that's fine. But yeah, when I started seeing, I think Hustle and Show's starting tracking towards the LaVine type mint count, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get quite there.
No, not quite, but yeah.
I think we will get like definitely over 7. We're gonna go 8. Somewhere probably in the 8Ks is where I expect. But if you looked early, it didn't look like, if you compared it to LaVine early, like after a day or so, it would, like LaVine was way ahead. So there was a slight period at the beginning that it might've been okay. Giannis is a weird on Top Shot because of the MVP saturation and everything of Giannis. He's an interesting case right now for that level of player, to see what his value would be afterwards. But I'm very interested to see how all these commons look in 2-3 years. Like, will anyone care about these cool cats at all? Like right now they've been holding on to that Master Challenge utility, so they're all still a little inflated. But like, if you look at like those 18K ones, are we going to look at them any differently than a 35K? I mean, the mint count will do that, but taking the mint count out of it, like, I don't know. It'll be very interesting. Like, especially like a new user in Top Shot in 3 years, will he look at this cool cat and be like, what is this? And like, the users now might have a little bit of like, oh, cool cats. That's what like my first pack drop was, or that's what drew me in and really got me like more interested in challenges and all that. But like another user that's in 3-4 years, just looking at that, it's like, unless the artwork's really cool, I don't know.
I think about this with Series 1 as well. And that, so like when I work in marketing, I always try to think, who cares? Like when you're writing something or, you know, creating like a post or anything, what will someone think when they see it, and who cares? Why should they care? And I think about Series 1 and if people will care as much, or will they just enter the market on their favorite player? Like I remember just joining in January and I thought, I better buy something, you know, and be involved because packs are hard and they were a bit iffy in January. So I bought a jar of Morant. And that was it. I didn't look into Series 1 or anything like that. It was just what was there, and it was dipping my toes in the water. So I do really wonder, like there's a lot of advocates for Series 1 because it's the first, it'll only ever be one first. They are at a massively different price bracket for what they are. Obviously the scarcity is there, but I do wonder if it's always going to be the shiny and new to an extent. And as you say, what will these 35Ks be worth in Series 3 and Series 4? And presumably we're going to get more than 35Ks in those series as well, like 50s or 100s or something like that. So do you think people will care about Series 1, for example?
I think Series One will be kind of the exception to the rest. Just from what I like, I'm not big in the card market. Like I had cards as a kid, but I'm not like I didn't dive back into that and during the lockdown like many people did.
Yeah.
But like from what they said, from like things like Pokemon and stuff, is like the original has like value. Like if like Pokemon cards, like the random shitty common one that probably people had like hundreds of and like threw them out and stuff, are like going for like $80 and stuff. And
Yeah.
like so I think Series One will be, and part of the reason I think that too is their mint counts are so low
Low.
that like we may get to a point where we will get to a point I think with rares that they are higher than the like highest mint count of Series One, which is 399, I think, or sorry, 3,999,
Yeah.
and it's possible that like legendaries start getting up there too, depending on our user base, of course. So I do think that it will, but you're gonna have a big discrepancy in Series One between like your no-name player, your average player, and then like your superstar. But I do think that they will hold value. They're not all going to go up the same amount. And then I think when you like move along the series, it will be very much based on popularity of the players. So like
Yeah.
in Series 2, I think some of these stars and stuff like that right now might look really good in 5-10 years, but like your low end player, not so
Yeah.
much. And then you might have your medium, and then within that I think you'll have the actual moments matter, and you'll have the like Harrison Barnes is probably not going to become a superstar, but that game winner might, when you look at that in the grand scheme of things, when you're displaying these things too, like I think about like, the autographed baseball that people have like in their office or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now, like you put up like your Top Shot highlights or whatever, you're going to want the moment to be cool. Like, yeah, okay, you have like the LeBron assist. Okay. Yeah, it's okay, the full court thing, but it's not really LeBron, right? So if that's
Yeah.
playing, people are going to be like, oh, like that's a layup by, I don't know, who was it? It wasn't Kuzma, or I forget who.
Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Oh, it's like, oh, that's a cool Pope layup that you have playing
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
So like, I think once we see that world, and that it might change a bit, but I'm a big proponent of Series One based on what I've heard from collectors. And I think that also includes like first moment badges and rookie badges going forward.
Yeah, that's a good point. You probably summed it up in the first sentence. It'll probably be the exception to the rest. And to your other point, I keep seeing people trying to talk themselves into those non-liquid players. Like, hey, what do you think about Terry Rozier Series One? And again, back to my point, like, who cares? Like, will they care about like Luca? Yeah, damn right, they'll care about that. And I can convince myself into Series One Aussies, but that's a theme of my collection. You might be Raptors, but when some people come to me and say, "Oh, what do you think about I don't know Plumlee Series One?" to bring it back to him, I constantly think, whatever. I mean, if you love him, go for it. If you're not, I'm not sure what the draw is 3 years down the line. And by the way, that LeBron assist, that block that just came out today is so much better, and it's going for less with a less circulation.
Well, that's the LE effect, right? And I think what's funny about the LE effect is I don't know how many people are actually think that the 35 cc's will go at a higher mint count, or just because it went LE and they're chasing the pump or whatever. Like the reasoning that an LE would be selling higher, like of the same player and everything, is that you think the other one is going to go to 50,000, right? Like that would be the fear. But I don't think many people actually think that. They just see the LE, and LE has value. So that means that, but people are going to, if you don't think that the 35,000s are going to increase this year, then there's value in, for example, that LeBron right now, and maybe even more once more gets released, and it might drop a little bit.
Well, to me, it doesn't make sense because I reckon the assist I think it's sitting at between $70 and $80, which is mostly circulated right now. I think it's almost just like incumbent. Like the price is the price, and that's where it is because that's where it is. And the other one, same as like when any reward sort of drops more, not the cool cats and stuff, but the rarer ones, the price becomes the price based on what everyone else sort of does. And that's kind of what happened with the block. And I've seen some people dump it for 40 today, and it's really struggled to drop below the 50 wall. And it's been really difficult to snipe below the anything in the 40s. But to me, it's a better moment and there's less circulation. So, but next week it could get dropped. Someone could drop it for 30. Who knows? So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. It doesn't make sense to me. But again, it probably goes back to your point again of not many people or not everyone is looking into it the way we look into it.
Yeah, not everyone is fully obsessed and spending their whole lives doing
logging in every day.
Exactly. Yeah. But the other thing too with that, it has to do with like market dynamics, and I'm sure like some people with more of an like investor background or stock background, like these people have bought that LeBron at that price, so they're less willing to let go of it. Whereas these people that got the LeBron just got it, you know, for $9 or whatever. So there's definitely like that part of the market dynamics is that like it's not always going to make sense necessarily, or it takes time for the market to actually adjust to what it is. So that I find really interesting. There's a lot of like human psychology involved in it, just like there is with the stock market or anything, any type of investing as well. So I think, and you see that, and it's funny that we don't see that more with the challenges, but there's also this like undercutting fear of, if I don't sell it now, I'm going to lose more. And I guess a lot of it bases around the fact that our market is set up by lowest ask and not like sales.
Yeah. And bids, when something like bids comes through, I think that will give fair market value a lot quicker, because if someone lists it for, I don't know, let's just say 100, nice round number, but all their offers are like $50, people will start to realize, okay, that's the market, not what I thought it was. So I think something like that, which they've mentioned previously, will really help as well. Potentially, like eBay, I think it would help.
Yeah, there's some people like from the sneaker world with StockX that are like not for that. I don't know the exact specifics, but part of it I think stems from and if, you know, if there's someone that wants to correct me in the comments, that'd be very nice, that has more knowledge of the sneaker game. But I think it's something to do with like the people purposely underbid so that the price is lower. So there's like a dynamic of that. So like, I don't know that there is a perfect system that exists, and there's flaws with all of them. But I think maybe regardless how it changed, the most important thing is to like educate people of like the negative side effects of it. And if we can get more people understanding that, it will have a more positive. So it might be that like, okay, we still have the lowest ask system, but beside it, you have like the average sales in the last whatever, just so that like, there's more information that is obvious to users. Versus
that's a really good idea.
You can go to the latest sales and look and scroll, but how many people are doing that? Or if you're trying to make a quick transaction, you don't have time to go to a different page and then back, and then it's gone. So,
well, now it's even more hidden. It's in that like you got to click on it, it opens up. It's annoying to close to get back to the buy button. So that's actually a really good idea, having like average sale or an estimator or something like that. It's nothing that no one else's, the third party sites aren't doing anyway.
Exactly. And like they already have like evaluate market like linked there. There's no reason they couldn't have it like flow market cap with their extension to like these things are ways that they can look to improve it. And like a lot of it stems with they got so many things to improve and they have to prioritize. So like, I don't know, when I criticize them, like at the same time, I'm like so impressed at their like long-term vision of everything. And they're like, I think they do a great job of not trying to necessarily like turn a quick buck when they really are in the position to do so if they wanted to right now.
So I got final 2 questions for you, and I only just thought of them, and then I'll let you get on with your day, and then I'll get to bed probably. Where are you on trade tickets? What do you think about that whole idea?
I am super for them in that I always worried about the day when you pull the moment and it wouldn't sell for $1 on the marketplace, and you just
Yeah.
maybe would have like your account get to these crazy numbers and like they're kind of in your way almost.
Yeah.
So I'm super for that. I'm going to be very interested at the $3 price point on the marketplace. I see like we kind of hit a $4 wall, and every time it goes
Yeah.
to 3, people are snagging them up. I think it might be a wall that takes some time to get across, and when we get across it, it'll be there for good. As in, like it'll take a lot of $2 or $1 moments to stay at that price because people are going to be scooping them up for these trade tickets.
But you think we'll hit that floor?
Eventually, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's this year. Even I don't know if it's even during these Series 1 moments. But trade tickets are going to be something long term. But the last thing I do have to say to that is that I do not like their timing of their announcement, and I think it was
Yeah.
super rushed. I think
100%.
I think people got burned on the marketplace, and I think it was pressure to announce their plan for Series 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was necessary to bring up the trade tickets until they were there. Because if we look at the timing of it, we're about to go 3 weeks in a row with pre-registration packs. And they announced that after the first one of those, I think, or maybe before it had even hit the marketplace.
And it was for 3 months' time, which in Top Shot land is just
If you, if you're
2 years.
making any decision that doesn't have to do with like a long-term hold, or you are investing in a player's getting better, then there's nothing you should be doing that's 3 months ahead of time on Top Shot, because especially right now, like the platform is going to be something else in 3 months.
Yeah.
But that's where I didn't like that. And I like watched what happened to the marketplace, and I think I bought 2 or 3 moments, and then I was like, what am I doing here? Like, relax. Cause I found out about it on my drive home. So I didn't have like all the information, and I just wanted to get on there. But it's not just that they said it in advance, but they said it right before they are increasing their ability of giving out supply. So like if they would have waited until, after next Friday, our floor probably would have been $2.
Yeah.
And, it might've jumped up to 3 or 4, but it wouldn't jump up to, it jumped up to like 7, 8, 9. I don't know what it was exactly, but
That's about right.
So that's where I didn't like it. But they could have just said for Series 1, they're going to be these special packs, and like left it at that. And people would have been like, okay, they're releasing them in packs that has only Series 1 in it. And people would have assumed that there's a price point on that. And then boom, in a month's time, they say, actually, it's going to be trade-in tickets. And the supply would have been better able to handle the increase.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And the timing was weird. And playoffs. What are you excited about the playoffs? Are you just strategizing around playoffs, or are you just looking forward to playoff packs like me?
I'm very much interested in playoff packs. I've had this idea for playoff packs, in that they should only like include players in those playoff packs once their team has been eliminated.
Yeah, I've heard you. Yeah.
That I don't think they'll do, because that's not really. But I think that's what I would have liked to see. I'm super excited I don't really necessarily strategize too much in that, but in the same way that like players that are going to go far are better players to start with. But the more value is going to come from the mid-tier player that blows up in the playoffs. But I think a lot of people might be strategizing for the playoffs, but I am curious to how many people will actually sell at that point. Like if we take Tyler Hero as an example,
Exactly.
When he went off, like that would have been the time to sell him. If that playoff run happened this year, and like we had this many users, like we would have seen a crazy pump for Tyler Hero, everything. But also everyone thought Tyler Hero was going to be like a superstar for like years to come, and he hasn't been so far. So like how many people would have just held on to those anyway? So I think like it's interesting that people kind of look ahead to that. I'm more interested in like watching that whole dynamic take place, and maybe like taking notes for next year more so. I prefer to kind of make decisions on things that have already happened. rather than like kind of jumping into the hype of things. So I kind of like more looking back. So I'm super interested to see that. The playoff game or the play-in games, I'm kind of intrigued. I'm intrigued to see if Top Shot reacts more to the play-in games than they do to a round one series, in that all eyes are on these singular games that have so much more value versus like a first round playoff games. It's spread out.
Well, to my knowledge, what they said was, and I could be wrong, the playing games, so the round one playoff drop packs, whatever they do, would include the playing game moments. So the best bits from that. So there wouldn't be like a playing game drop. There would be like it would be involved in the round one. But I think also like there'll be like bigger pumps in terms of it might just be just as short term, but like when Anthony Edwards got 50 points and he had this massive surge. If someone does that in the playoffs, I think that will be amplified. Again, might just be as short term and short lived as what Anthony Edwards was, but I think there'll be more eyes on it. So I think everything a little bit will be amplified in the playoffs in terms of what we see now. It'll just be a lot more focused on these individuals, I guess.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, the playing game, will that have even more value than our series one, right? That, like there's, at the beginning, there's 8 games on, or there's 6 games, however they do the scheduling in the NBA, whereas the playing games, it's like, that's a national broadcast. Everyone's watching that game. They're not going to put them on at the same time. So I think that'll be interesting. And I don't know. I'm conflicted because I'm very entertained by the Top Shot pumps. But at the same time, I find it very entertaining, but at the same time, I'm torn because I know that some people are getting like screwed at those times, and like it pains me. But at the same time, like it's kind of like a car crash that you can't keep your eyes off of.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes I actually, like you said, you missed the pump when I forget when it was now, the floor was announced for trade tickets, or the floor went up when trade tickets was announced. And I've found myself missing quite a lot just because of, I'm in Australia. A lot of this stuff happens while I'm at work, and then I digest and analyze it later, obviously. But sometimes it's an advantage just to let the water go under the bridge and then make an informed decision later. And I think a lot of people could do that a bit more, actually.
Yeah, like whenever there's news or anything like that, it's a time to sell then buy. Like Top Shot always overreacts. So even like if you don't get it in at the very minute that thing is announced, then it's gonna go up and then it's gonna come back down, and it might hold a little value, but the difference between here and here is a lot less than like buying it here when you could buy here later. So patience is probably one of the most undervalued things in Top Shot.
Patience and timing, I think, to your point, that's the 2 best things that you need.
Well, actually, I guess those would be second and third behind pack drop luck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right, man. Well, thanks heaps for being the first collab I've ever bothered to try and do. Ironically, this video, and you push me a lot and you plug me a lot, this video might be the one that gets it over 2K, and that would be pretty amazing.
Well,
and then,
it certainly should. That's for sure. There's no reason you shouldn't be over 2K yet.
Whatever. But thank you for your support. You've been a big supporter of this, and hopefully we can do this again sometime, because it's like the last hour just flew by.
I can't even believe it's been an hour. I'm super honored to be your first guest, and I look forward to what's going to happen to your channel, your podcast, and look forward to collaborating with you in the future as well.
All right, man. Unreal. Enjoy your date.
All right. Good to see you.
So that's it, guys. Again, thanks so much for Top Shot Talk for joining. And if you got value out of this episode, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll speak to you in the next episode. Have a good day. See ya.
To keep getting valuable NBA Top Shot content, subscribe to the Ballers blockchain wherever you're listening and on YouTube. See ya!